Hello dear students. This video will help you to understand the basic concept called human rights. It is an introduction to human rights, about the meaning of human rights and the whole concept human rights. Actually, what are rights? A right is a multidimensional dynamic concept embracing almost all areas of life like social, cultural, economic, and political fields. Professor H. J. Lasky defines rights as rights are those conditions of social life without which no man can be his best self. And these are the rights: 1. Moral power to hold. Moral power to hold, that is, right to life, right for nationality, right to own property, and right for rest and leisure. Next, rights to do. Rights to marry, of person of your choice, right for peaceful assembly, rights for to do run for police office, uh, run for public office, and right for education. And rights to omit, freedom from torture and cruel, inhuman or degrading punishment, freedom from arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. And right to exact something like equal protection of the law, equal access to public service, equal pay for equal work. So these are the basic rights as human being we have. What are then human rights? Human rights are referred as the fundamental rights, basic rights, inherent rights, natural rights, and birthrights. These rights are necessary to ensure the dignity of every person as a human being, irrespective of race, religion, language, caste, sex, or any other reason. Human rights are equal to all, no matter which race you belong, which religion you believe, which language you speak, which caste you belong, which sex you oriented, and any other reason. No matter whatever you are, human rights are equal to every human being. This lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, actually replaced and coined the term human rights. First, before human rights, the term was popularized by the term rights of man. But in the title itself, she could find an inequality, a discrimination with man and woman. So she coined a better term, probably the best term, to replace the term rights of man, and she replaced it as human rights, where no gender discrimination, no religion, no caste, no race discrimination. Human is general, human is unique. The United Nations Center of Human Rights defines human rights as those rights which are inherent in our nature and without which we cannot live as human beings. And in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted on 1948, defines human right as rights derived from the inherent dignity of human person. I repeat those quotes again. First one, those rights which are inherent in our nature and without which we cannot live as human beings. Second one, rights derived from the inherent dignity of human person. Then, what are the characteristics of human rights? First, human rights are universal. It is internationally guaranteed. It is legally protected. It protects individuals and groups. It cannot be taken away. And it is equal and indivisible. These characteristic features of human rights are very significant. It is universal in nature, internationally guaranteed, legally protected, protects individuals and groups, cannot be taken away, and finally equal and indivisible. Depending on the nature of human rights, we can find five categories for human rights. Five categories of human rights. 1. civil. Second, political. Third, economic. Fourth, social. And final, cultural. Civil rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights, and cultural rights. These are the five categories of human rights based on the nature of human rights. Let us take the first category, civil rights. Civil rights are the right to be treated as an equal to anyone else in the society. Political rights, the right to vote, to freedom of speech, and to obtain information. Economic rights are those rights, the right to participate in an economy that benefits all and to desirable work. Social rights are the right to education, right to health care, right to food, right to have proper food, clothing, shelter, and social security. Finally, cultural rights. Cultural rights are the right to freedom of religion and to speak the language and to practice the culture of one's choice. Now we will look each category one by one. First one, social rights. Social rights, these are the rights subcategories which comes under the broad category social rights. Housing, for education, for health services, for recreation facilities, for clean environment and social security. These are the subcategories which comes under the broad term social rights. Now look at the civil rights. Civil rights for life, belief in own religion, belief in one's opinion, free speech, non-discrimination according to sex, right for marriage and right for race and right for belonging to any particular cultural background. These are the subcategories which comes under the broad term civil rights. Cultural rights. Cultural rights to have one's own, use one's own language, develop cultural activities, ancestral domains to keep the ancestral domains, develop and kind of their own kind of schooling. These are the cultural rights. Economic rights to have a job, work without exploitation, fair wage, safe working conditions, form trade unions, have adequate food, protection against labor malpractices. The last one is political rights. They are the right to vote in elections, freely form or join political parties, live in an independent country, stand for public office, freely disagree with views and policies of political leaders. So these are the subcategories or sub rights which comes under, which makes political rights complete. So we'll look once more. Social rights, civil rights, cultural rights, economic rights, and finally political rights. All these five category comprises or we can keep in a broad umbrella term human rights. Thank you.